Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your WWE No Mercy 2016 preview and predictions. This is SmackDown Live's second exclusive pay-per-view since the brand split, and this show is actually shaping up to be possibly even better than Backlash, which is Backlash we both enjoyed thoroughly. John, what do you think about No Mercy so far? Just the hype behind it.
Dude, I will start right out of the gate. You know what I love to do? Every preview predictions tell you what my hype level is. As we start preview predictions and then after our discussions, if it's been raised or lowered any. Right now, my hype at the initial high, 9 out of 10.
Yeah. I mean, it
seems
seems like I'm pretty consistently less excited than you when we first get into the discussion, but I'm at like a solid 8, maybe even 8.5 for this show.
Dude, what's so great about No Mercy, and I want to say this at the outset, just in case I don't have an opportunity to say it later. What's so great about this card is every match to me has a solid story behind it. Varying types of stories, but every story has had consistent build. Every story's been given time. Now, sure, some builds, people would argue, are better than others. That's only natural. But I feel like every match on this card makes sense. This card has a lot of narrative strength going for it, and that's why I'm so excited for No Mercy, because I'll be honest, if I remember Clash of Champions correctly, there were some narrative strong points on that card to be sure, but I don't think it was as strong as what this is looking like. Some great stories being featured here, and I really can't wait to discuss these matches with you, dude.
Yeah, like I said, I'm really right around 8, 8.5. You said you were around a 9. We are both really excited for this show. It looks like it's going to be a really good show, not only from a story standpoint, but also from a match quality standpoint. However, we haven't even started talking about any individual matches yet, so let's get right into that. I do believe there is a pre-show match set for this, and that is going to be Jack Swagger versus Baron Corbin. And I got to tell you, John, this is probably the match on this card that I care the least about. Mostly just because Jack Swagger hasn't really done anything for me, and I feel like Corbin is above this. But I'm hoping Corbin gets the win, so I'm going to pick Corbin.
Here's the thing, and here's where I can forgive SmackDown. Because, as you guys know, because SmackDown kind of lands on days where I spend quality time with my family, I haven't been live tweeting with the Scum Squad, and I really haven't kept my eyes and ears on the product, but I do go to the recaps on YouTube and stuff like that. I find this feud to be incredibly stupid. I saw the controversy from the last SmackDown where Swagger won because the ref perceived that Corbin tapped, but he didn't tap. He was reaching with the ropes. That said, I can forgive SmackDown because they recognize this is the weakest match, and that's why it's on the pre-show. I commend them for that. That said, I completely agree with everything you said, Ashton. I think Corbin needs the win. I hope he wins, and I hope he goes on to do something better after this. So Baron Corbin for the win, definitely.
Yeah, Corbin needs to win this, and personally, I think he needs to be elevated into some kind of title picture after this.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So I do have the matches listed out in order in the description. However, I am going to change it up a little bit because I realize that the match that I have at number 2 in the description is actually probably more interesting and more important than the match that I have listed at number 3. So let's talk about the Curt Hawkins debut first. And the big question here is, who do you think is going to be his opponent?
For all we know, it could be a kind of jumper. Maybe we'll see James Ellsworth facing Curt Hawkins. I've been seeing his name come up more lately. Apparently, I don't know if you heard this, but on Talk is Jericho, James Ellsworth said that Vince McMahon met him when he got, behind Gorilla, went to the back. And Vince said, you did a great job, kid. That was great. So they may want to give him more work. They may make him a serviceable opponent for Curt Hawkins. I just think it's not going to be an opponent we know too well. I just think it's going to be an opponent that will do what they're supposed to do, and that's be serviceable to establishing Curt Hawkins. So,
yeah. I kind of have a bit of a theory on this, and it's probably wrong, but I'd like to always try and make things interesting. What if they pull a Dan Matha with this? What if they have somebody come out and absolutely what if it's Kane?
That would be interesting, yeah. You know, it'd be very a nice little swerve if Kane came out, and he may dominate Curt Hawkins. I would like Curt Hawkins to get a win because I hate this idea that in 2016 Kane is unstoppable now, apparently. But
like, what if they pull a Dan Matha with Hawkins here?
Yeah, I mean, that very well could be, dude. I would not put it past WWE to do something like that because he hasn't stepped foot in the ring yet. He's still doing, like, he's upgraded from not necessarily vignettes, but these kind of things showing the Curt Hawkins facts to him, verbally saying these facts and, you know, in the vignettes. Yeah. And who's to say we'll even see him compete? So do you want to go with that as a prediction that he's not even going to have a match? Maybe he'll just get destroyed or something?
No, I think he's going to have a match. You know what? DBK or MyMag77 in chat actually said something that I hadn't even thought of that's actually probably going to happen. Apollo Crews.
Ah, good point. Good point. Yeah, we haven't really heard from him lately ever since that one match with Corbin where he took him out again.
Yeah. That would be a good way to kind of set him on a different track, though, because Hawkins could beat him via cheating, and that could set off a program for them.
Definitely, definitely. So are we in agreement that whatever this debut match is, Hawkins is going over?
Not necessarily, but I think it would make the most sense in the situation. Because the thing is, you never know what kind of debut they're going to give him. They could give him this sort of Dan Matha, like, build him up only to knock him down debut, where he shows up, gets destroyed by somebody credible, and as a way to, like, show that that person is still around, whether it's Kane or Cruz or, you know, whoever. Maybe Shelton Benjamin cleared waiver or cleared a physical, and he's going to finally show up. I don't know. Or the other way around is they could just have him squash a jobber like James Ellsworth.
Right.
Or the other option is they could use this match to give him an early win and kick off a program between him and a babyface. So I don't know which of those routes they're going to take. But my official prediction, just to play it safe, might as well just be that, yeah, Harold Hawkins is going to win. But if he doesn't, know that I called the hell out of it.
Fair enough. So, yeah, okay. I got another more to say about this. Let's move on.
Yeah, up next, let's talk about Nikki Bella versus Carmella. And in my opinion, even though this match needs to happen, I'm extremely disappointed that it does not have a stipulation. They were talking about making it no disqualification, and that, I guess, never just came to fruition.
Here's the thing. My prediction here, because I'm going to get right into it. I've enjoyed the build to this. I like Carmella as a heel. The way they've been booking Nikki as a babyface, in my opinion, works. I actually am enjoying her now, which I can't believe that came out of my mouth in sincerity. What my prediction is contingent on is that certain rumors align to be true. Now, I've heard that Sasha and Charlotte may be getting a Hell in a Cell match all their own at the pay-per-view. Which would not surprise me. Now, if that does happen, I would expect at the next SmackDown pay-per-view after Hell in a Cell, they would get a women's stip. So with that said, this is my prediction. I think Nikki Bella wins, but by DQ. I think there's going to come a point where Carmella gets frustrated and she becomes... what were we going to say?
The next SmackDown pay-per-view after Survivor Series is TLC.
You know what? Because, yeah, I keep forgetting that co-branded pay-per-views are still a thing. Then I should say maybe co-branded pay-per-view, they'd even do it. But my point is they're going to do it after the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. That's my point that I should say more generally. And I do think Carmella at one point is just going to get frustrated, be like, fuck this, and feel like beating Nikki Bella isn't as important as taking out Nikki Bella. And she's going to throw the match out for herself, giving Nikki the win, which is still great for Nikki because she doesn't win in a dominant way that would make us groan. She gets the win, sure, but she only gets it again just by being brutalized by Carmella. So I'm thinking this may be like the only DQ finish of the show. So Nikki to win by DQ is my prediction.
It would make the most sense for them to have a disqualification finish in this, just because then it would really lead to them wanting to do no DQ. Maybe the reason this match isn't no DQ is because even though the storyline might call for it, we haven't really had any kind of a match between these two. So they don't want to jump the gun, and without even having a singles match for them to try and establish the superior woman, just kind of jump straight into, oh, well, one of you is definitely going to cheat, so let's just have no DQ.
Right, I get what you're saying.
Maybe they want the match to be like something that is demanded in the ring rather than just demanded by the story.
Right, I get what you're saying.
Like maybe they want these women to prove that they need no DQ in order to settle their business rather than just giving it to them.
So, I mean, let me ask you, because you're saying all this, let's conceptualize it then in a scenario. So if in this match, say hypothetically, Carmella would grab Nikki's tights and cheat to win, would that be the grounds to necessitate, okay, since you're going to cheat anyway, let's just throw the whole rule book out and do no DQ?
I think if Carmella grabs a chair and starts wailing away on Nikki Bella and Nikki wins by disqualification, that would be a good reason to have no DQ.
Okay, and again, that is what I'm predicting. Nikki wins by DQ, and I do expect a brutal beatdown. I don't know if it's going to involve chairs or whatever, but I do think, yeah, it's going to be a vicious assault. I mean, my question is, though, what's your prediction?
Nikki Bella by DQ.
Okay, so we agree then. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I've got nothing to say about it. We can
You
move
know
on.
what? You know what? Now that I think about it, I'm going to swap that. I'm going to say Carmella by DQ. Nikki Bella is going to let her Latina temper get the better of her. And because she is finally able to get her hands on Carmella in the ring, she's going to get disqualified by the ref counting to 5 in the corner.
Just going to get up in the ref's face. You know what? God.
do you know what?
Carmella, you frustrated me for the last time. I can't even get Prada bags now because of you. But no, I do like that logic. You know, that the babyface is just tired of the heel shit because Carmella, if she's not beating down Nikki Bella, she's cheating to pin Nikki Bella or some shit. Like, it's always something. So I could see the babyface's frustration just being like, fuck this, and then just does that. So I'm glad we both agree, though, that there is going to be a DQ finish. Because, again, it does seem the most logical with this particular match. We're just flipping the script on who's going to benefit from that DQ finish. You see Carmella winning. I see Nikki Bella winning. But honestly, I'm tempted to come over to your side because I think maybe it would make more sense for the heel to win. This way she has bragging rights over Nikki. Like, oh, you lost your temper, but I won the match because you lost your temper.
Yeah.
You know what? I've done it before. I'll do it
You
again.
know what?
I'll do it again. I'll jump ship and I'll co-sign up yours.
I think that our success rate when one of us jumps ship is like 0%.
Yeah, it is 0%, and I'll resent myself if I turn out to be right the first time. But hey, I would not back another horse but you, my friend. I trust you completely. So I'll throw in my lot with you. We'll do it.
All right, brother. Well, let's get on to our first championship match of the night. Heath, Slater, and Rhyno defending their championships against the Usos. I'm just going to jump right in here and say I think that the Usos are going to win this. I think that Heath, Slater, and Rhyno are a great Cinderella story, but the clock is going to strike midnight at no mercy, brother.
Hey, I completely agree with you. There really isn't much to say. Like, I've loved how this story has come together, even though I will say, and again, maybe this is an unfair criticism because I haven't watched the episodes in depth, but it almost seems like Beauty and the Man Beast, you know, Heath, Slater, and Rhyno have been more background performers. I think the primary feud here really is the Usos and Alpha. So, and that's really why I agree with you. I think them winning the tag team titles, it's just a formality to really get the feud underway between American Alpha and the Usos, get those championship implications in there. And plus, like you said back at Backlash, Heath winning the titles, it was all about him getting a contract. It's not like the contract is going to go with those tag team titles. And personally, I think Heath could do amazing things in singles with his babyface fire right now. So I think it's going to be a fun tag team match, maybe even have its points of emotional resonance as we, you know, cheer on Heath to keep the goal he worked so hard to attain. But I do think it's the Usos' time, and I'm actually excited about this reign because their heel work has been amazing. So Usos for the win.
Yeah, it really has been, and that amazing heel work is exactly why they need to be champions, because then any team that challenges them, and I'm hearing rumors that Breezango might be turning face, which means that they would be the perfect first challengers for the post-champion Usos. And then eventually you build to the Usos as heel team versus American Alpha, and Alpha loses the first match because of cheating or disqualification, and then they win the return match with a stipulation. Maybe even we get a TLC match between the Usos and American Alpha, and that would be amazing.
Oh, that would be fucking incredible. I wholeheartedly sign on to that. And I think the first step is going to be taken this Sunday Usos are going to win those tag team titles. It's a reign you and I can sink our teeth into, which feels amazing to say. And yeah, their program with Alpha, and that's another thing too. It feels so good to see Alpha struggling like this with Chad Gable, being injured. And I know Jason Jordan won a singles match against Jey Uso, but that's singles and not tag. They gotta win that. And it's just nice to see them really struggle against the current for once. It's turning into a great story, and yeah, Usos for the win, hopefully. So good stuff.
And you know what? I just noticed another potential mistake in the description. I should swap a couple more matches because I think that the next match that we should talk about is Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt.
I got to ask you, brother, because this wasn't the match I thought we were going to talk about next. I am excited to talk about the match I was thinking of, though. But this match, I'm really looking forward to. It's the Backlash match that never was. We're finally getting it this time around. But I have to ask you, as a guy, I know how your creative processes work. What have you thought about the build of this thing?
I mean, they have gone above and beyond to make Randy Orton look like a credible threat to Bray Wyatt. But I think the problem that I have with this is that wasn't something I was ever questioning. It was more the other way around. I don't think they did a good enough job to make Bray Wyatt look like a threat to Randy Orton. And again, it's Vince McMahon's hubris. He thinks he's created another Undertaker in Bray Wyatt when Bray Wyatt is in a state of almost being in purgatory. Like he had that weird 2-week face turn immediately following WrestleMania, and that was like the most interesting he's been since his debut on the main roster. And then when he came back as a heel on SmackDown, he was super hot for a little bit, but then he went on a losing streak and lost all of my interest, and they haven't built him back up from that point.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, consistently, I feel like for the past 2 years, if not more now, Bray Wyatt has been the big crying shame to me because there's so much promise there, and I want to be in him, and I want to be behind him with the same ferocity I'm behind Seth Rollins right now. And It's funny that you say everything you just said because I read the latest SmackDown review from AV Club. I feel like LaToya covered SmackDown because Kyle covers Raw, and she said the same thing about Bray. She said, like, he's not as Teflon as WWE likes to think that he is. And I feel like he's coming out on the worst end of this thing, she said, because when you have to leave a match against Kane and give Kane the win again by countout and be like, oh, you're getting yours, Kane. Like she even said, I don't think Kane's going to get his. I have no reason to believe he's going to get his. And I feel like, this feud, like while she's enjoying it, and I think while we're all enjoying it, I will say I think it's been a bit of a disservice to Bray, which is always concerning. That said, I do commend them for being different. That one episode of SmackDown Live where it was kind of a cat and mouse thing, Randy Orton opening each door, not knowing what lied on the other side, and then he sits in the chair and puts on the mat. Like, it's cool stuff that they're doing. I like that.
That's the thing, is that they're legitimately putting on compelling television, but they're giving all of the credibility to the wrong person. They're giving the credibility to the person that doesn't necessarily need it because they're kind of trying to overcompensate for the loss to Lesnar.
Yes, I couldn't have articulated it better. In fact, because I can't, I'll just move right on to my formal prediction. Dude, I totally think Randy Orton's winning this. If this would have happened at Backlash, originally I did predict Bray, but honestly, this may just be a one-match program because honestly, after this, I think Randy Orton has got his sights on that WWE Championship, and we'll talk about that later. So yeah, I think Randy beats Bray, which is a shame because I'm sick and tired of Bray being a pit stop for other people when he should be a main eventer in his own right. But
I agree. Bray Wyatt should be the final boss of the WWE. He should be the guy that you need to beat in order to earn enough credibility to be the guy to take on and potentially beat John Cena and or Brock Lesnar.
Right. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Unfortunately, Bray, especially with booking like this, is nowhere near that level. I'm still interested in the match. I feel like this could be the potential show stealer of No Mercy. But yeah, Randy Orton's totally winning.
Yeah, I agree. Orton is my pick as well. He is going to probably not only overcome Bray Wyatt, but also Eric Rowan and maybe even a returning Luke Harper, if I had to guess. I think he's gonna do a lot in this match. And he's going to end up getting a world title shot, most likely at Survivor Series.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said, dude. No contention here whatsoever.
All right, then let's move on to our next matchup, the Women's Championship match for SmackDown. Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss. And I mean, you went first for the last one, so I'll go first for this one. I think it's pretty safe to say Becky's retaining here.
Yeah, oh yeah, Becky's retaining. But again, I have to say, this was such a simplistic match, and I mean that as a compliment. You have Alexa Bliss, the entitled heel. She wins, what was it at that point, a 5-pack challenge because Becky was the champion. She pinned Nikki Bella to do it, which, again, great to see Nikki Bella actually eating pins instead of taking them in her face run. And then Alexa, that talking smack segment she had, dude, I was dying. Especially because Brian is such a great playoff guy for really any personality.
The thing about that talking smack segment, like, yes, she was great because she was sassy and she let Brian have it, but that shit was dark, man. Like, Brian was 100% right when he says that, like, Alexa Bliss had, like, one of those stage moms where, like, they forced their child into some kind of, like, beauty pageant or dancing or some kind of other competitive thing, and then they, like, live vicariously through their, like, I feel bad for Alexa more than anything now.
Yeah, you know,
not even Alexa Bliss the character, but you know, Lexi Kaufman the person. I just feel bad for her now.
But then it's not that I don't feel bad for her too, but then I immediately think about her retort. You don't know my life. Like, just the way she said it, I was dying. So I gotta say, dude, you know that you and I, we've been fans of Alexa Bliss for a while. I feel like sometimes the way I speak about her, I may be a bigger fan between the two of us because, you know, I've really been on, like, her potential as a heel. I feel like she's really shined here. Becky's the perfect babyface champion. The way she talks about being champion, dude, that title is everything to her. It
is about time she has a championship in this company, and not only is she not dropping the ball while she's holding the title, she's scoring touchdown after touchdown after touchdown with these promos, with her fire, even on commentary. Becky Lynch is, I would argue, one of the top 2 or maybe 3 champions in the entire WWE.
I'd completely agree with you, and here's why. Because I had a realization while you were talking, because I was really thinking about Becky.
And you know what? Before you say that, Cliff Amal, I completely agree with you. Becky Lynch is the single most talented female performer on the main roster right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, if I'm being honest, everybody, and this is not a Johnny Scumbag thing, this is just me being honest. When I think about most face champions, like, yeah, they're cool, but I'm mostly curious, like, okay, who are they going to drop the title to and what are they going to do after the back? Becky is probably one of those rare exceptions in our industry, for me personally as a fan, that when she drops it, I'll be heartbroken for her because she just makes that championship seem like everything.
Like, that's kind of the point I'm trying to get across, is typically your best champions are heels because baby faces always make more compelling television as chasers, but Becky as a babyface has been an exceptional champion.
Yeah, that's why I'm stoked on this match. I think you have Alexa Bliss that's done solid heel work. I like the ambush she did on Becky where she just takes the title from her, like forcibly takes it from her while she's unconscious, and she says, "You don't deserve this, Becky. I do." Like, it's so simple. And you know something, like, and I want to say this too, no, it doesn't have, in my mind, the emotional intensity of Charlotte Sasha. That would be impossible given all the rich history there. But given what they do have, an angry heel, a fiery babyface, and a championship, SmackDown Live made it work because that's all you need in this business sometimes. I think this is going to be a great women's title match. I do agree with you wholeheartedly. Becky's retaining, but this is going to be one of those matches where both women come out the better for it, and I'm excited. Should be good stuff.
Definitely. Becky retains. Moving on, our semi-main event, and hopefully the semi-main event of the show itself. Maybe, you know, if the triple threat world title match wasn't as epic as it is, this is the kind of Intercontinental Championship match that could main event a pay-per-view. The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler, career versus title. And you know what, John? I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. I think Miz is winning this.
You know something, brother? First of all, I do agree with you, but I need to get, because this is actually the match I was most looking forward to talking to you about on here. Because in my mind, not only do I think Miz is going to win, but subjectively, I think Miz needs to win this match. The points I'm about to address, I already said to you, Ashton, in conversation, but I want to repeat them for our audience here. To me, Miz he's at the top of his game right now. It's funny because I feel like I feel like both him and Johnny Mundo, oddly enough, are at the top of their game right now at the same time. That's just crazy to think about.
Miz and Morrison, baby, bring back the dirt sheet.
Exactly. And I feel like he's killing it as Intercontinental Champion. And it's like I told you in conversation. Like, yes, he's a braggart. Yes, he's a Hollywood actor and all this and that. But why not just douse that fire with gasoline and add career ender to that list? Because with his personality, with he would never shut the fuck up about it. He doesn't shut up about main eventing WrestleMania. There are days I forget which WrestleMania that even was. But
27.
And there you go. There you go. But if he ended a man's career, especially a man like Dolph Ziggler, and by the way, and now this is totally Johnny Scumbag, but I can't lie. That Dolph Ziggler success of a failure package that Miz put together, I must have watched that shit 5 times. That was fucking hilarious. Oh my god!
Of course you.
I think what was the last
revel in somebody else's failure quite like you, John?
Oh, dude, come the fuck on! Like, I know I'm Johnny Scumbag, but you can't. How can anybody not corpse? Okay, when you've got the narrator, an awkward career that never was, and then you have Dolph in full cheerleader get up, getting all excited. Ha! Nikki! Like, what? It was mocking Ziggler the entire way. And here's the thing. Really, the worst part about, and I'm going to sound like a huge dick here, but the worst part about this whole thing, is Dolph Ziggler. And just explain what I mean is like, if his promo material wasn't already so tired, like, I would feel like the stuff he was saying was like really engaging and really heartfelt, but we've heard him say it before. I did like his promo that led to the match, where like, I love this, and sometimes things you love don't always love you back, you know, but I feel like it was a different variation on things we've already heard him say 1,000 times. So I really feel like Miz has been kind of carrying this, and Ziggler's only been carrying this because he has the stakes. Like, oh, I'm putting my career up, so he's got that natural sympathy. I think Miz needs to win here. I think he has been an incredible Intercontinental Champion, the kind of champion that really makes the mid-card worth looking at and actually enjoying, maybe even more so than the main event at times. And I feel like if he beats Dolph Ziggler, like, you got to think about that next baby face. Ziggler, to me, he's done all he can do. He's never going to reach that zenith that maybe several years ago we thought he was going to reach. I mean, that time's over. You got to think about the star that you want to make. And, I mean, you look again at people like Alex Riley, Damian Sandow. We know what a great heat magnet Miz is. Do not waste that on Dolph Ziggler. I think Miz needs to win here. I would pour the entire canister of gasoline on that fire. Absolutely. So Miz to retain, and I hope he retains.
Yeah, man. I feel like we have been kind of predicting that Dolph was going to be leaving the WWE for like 3 or 4 years now. I mean, it's one of those things where when you predict it and it happens that far down the line, that's a missed prediction. But it's still like, it's been kind of a looming feeling because he never gets what we feel like he really does deserve. You know, even when he did get a world title run, it lasted a month. And then when he got a WWE title run, it lasted, actually, no, the world title run lasted like an hour, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, the one world title run lasted an hour, and then the other one was a month because that was the whole double turn thing with Del Rio. They never really
Del Rio, yeah, and that was freaking not even his fault, and Jack Swagger did it, but then he never got the title back. Like, if you are going to have somebody lose a championship in a double turn to somebody who is during the double turn turning heel, the babyface needs to get the title back, and he never did, and it was never even like attempted. It feels like so. Ziggler has been screwed at every turn. I remember, I think it might have even been in 2012, Jim Ross was quoted saying, if Dolph Ziggler and Cody Rhodes are not world champions by the end of this calendar year, they should quit. Cody's already gone. I think Dolph is the next one out the door. He's retiring, legitimately retiring from WWE. And, I mean, his contract is running out. He's already trying to take bookings for the Monday after No Mercy. Now, granted, that could be a work, but it's still like, this is I don't know, man. I not only do I think that Ziggler leaving makes sense, but and that it's entirely possible that it actually happens, but I don't think that the WWE would give Ziggler in 2016 all of the Miz's heat that he's built up.
No, I agree with you completely, dude. Absolutely. Again, not to denigrate Ziggler. I'm not here to take pod shots, but he really has worn on me, and I think he would be a waste of all that heat. I just think it could go to somebody better. Don't ask me who, because Apollo Crews really hasn't gotten Heath Slater. Yeah, and that's a guy I have been saying lately, because I'm actually glad I was wrong in hindsight about Apollo Crews, because he has just been stuck, and he really needs to elevate and step up his game to be a worthwhile babyface. I still think he could get there, but yeah, Heath Slater seems like the best bet. And yeah, unlike Ziggler, I feel like Heath Slater's never really gotten an opportunity to do the things that he wants to do, so I would be excited by that. But yeah, Dolph, I think it's great heat to give to Miz, but really that's all, and that's all it should be. So I hope Miz wins, and I am picking Miz formally to win. So I'm putting all my chips behind it. We'll see.
Yeah, this is either the best work of the year or the best angle of the year to retire someone.
Definitely. Yeah, completely.
Either way, though, we're both picking Miz. That's a unanimous decision. So let's move on to the main event, which is also going to be a unanimous decision. AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose versus John Cena. Triple threat for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And you want to say it together, John?
3, 2, 1. AJ's retaining.
AJ Styles.
Yeah. Not really much more you can say than that. I think AJ's on top of his game. I've loved the build of this, especially Dean Ambrose, man. Like, he is, like, come out like a house of fire, especially towards John Cena. And I like that Cena's been kind of a verbal target for both of these guys. And I heard that the go-home segment, they were really praising it a lot, and I read a recap. I mean, yeah, some heavy shit was said there. You know, AJ saying, oh, you'll never be in the same league as Ric Flair, and then Ambrose taking it a step further. I feel like this match makes logical sense. I think I even said, did I say on a tweet? Well, yeah, I think I said on our Q&A, right, because somebody asked, like, about the that was Charlene asked about the triple threat at No Mercy. They did better than the Shield triple threat in the sense that everybody has a logical stake to be in this triple threat. They even protected Ambrose in his one-on-one rematch against Styles, which I really appreciated. So, yeah, everything makes sense here. All the pieces are in place, but nobody's taken that title off Styles. Anybody that's seen me, like, on Twitter and I know you know in personal conversation, I've been very vocal about I think AJ's taken that championship all the way to WrestleMania 33. I think they are so high on him right now. They want him to drop that title at WrestleMania. I'm convinced. So I think he retains, and now I'm going to field it over to you, partner.
Yep, exactly. AJ is keeping the title. He is going to hold it for a long time. I would say that the earliest that I could see him dropping it isn't WrestleMania, but more Royal Rumble, but it wouldn't surprise me if he held it to WrestleMania. Right. And he is going to be the man, and Ambrose and Cena are both going to be taking some time off. Ambrose to shoot a movie, Cena, I believe, to shoot a TV show. And, of course, then we're going to have Orton versus Styles at Survivor Series.
Which should be, a great series of matches in their own right. I'm disappointed that Ambrose is taking time off because, honestly, that would be my program for Corbin once he gets done with Swagger. Like, he immediately goes after the big fish, but Ambrose won't be around. So I guess we'll have to wait for him to come back into the fold.
And as soon as Cena and Ambrose come back from their respective hiatuses, I want them in a feud together because they are absolute magic on the mic going back to 2014, for God's sakes.
Oh, yeah. They need to have a formal program, finally scratch that itch because, 2014, I think they kind of teased a little bit. They even did like, that kind of pole match. Oh, winner gets the contract to face Seth Rollins, but they've never had a full-blown program. And the material they have been spitting at each other, whether it's in the ring or talking smack, these guys can go. And normally when two guys really spar well on the mic, more often than not, I think it translates into a good in-ring product because, the emotion is there and the story is there. So, yeah, those two need to have a program. If not for any part of this year, definitely early next year. And I can already tell you that would be a candidate for Feud of the Year for 2017. And
the really funny thing, too, I could even see them taking what Raw tried to do with Roman Reigns and one-upping it because Raw tried to have the Roman Reigns redemption story by having him lose a bunch and then win against all the people that he lost to in a build up to winning a championship. I could see SmackDown doing the exact same thing with Cena, but over a longer period of time and with better quality writing. Because when he comes back, he's going to feud with Ambrose and overcome him, who he lost to on SmackDown TV. And then at WrestleMania, he's going to overcome AJ, who he lost to at SummerSlam. And it's going to be a full 360 story. And Cena's going to win his 16th championship. And it's going to completely obliterate what Raw attempted to do with Roman Reigns.
And I'll just tie that in because I know you were telling me in conversation you think AJ is going to pin John Cena in this match again, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. AJ is pinning Cena in this match. It protects Ambrose, and Cena can get beaten, and he's going to come back and get all his wins back anyway in January. So,
and you know something? I just want to say too to close out because I don't think we're dealing with the same atmosphere that we did a few years ago, I should say. So maybe I don't even have to say this, but if they do that story, I'll be happy for John. I'll be excited for his 16th world title reign. His work the last 2 years has been stellar. And if he keeps up that rate, you know, with the world title in tow, his 16th, I would not mind it at all. And I'd be very curious who would step up and take it from him. I would hope not an answer like, oh, maybe Roman Reigns crosses over or whatever, and they finally do that match. I would hope for something a bit different. But, you know, I'd be excited for that title reign. I'm not going to lie. His work has been quality. And if they want to give him that run, I think he's more than earned it at this point. So, yeah, no bitching from me.
Exactly. Yeah. AJ Styles, your current and future WWE World Heavyweight Champion, John. Any final thoughts that you want to toss out there for No Mercy 2016 before we close this out?
Well, like I said, like I anticipated, discussing this show with you top to bottom was so much fun. I'm now sitting at a 9.5. Not a full-blown 10, but, I mean, I am
I'll take it up a notch as well, and I'll say I'm at a 9. So
yeah, I mean, guys, on paper, again, this show is so narratively strong. It may even have stronger matches from a narrative standpoint than even Backlash did. And again, we thoroughly enjoyed Backlash. On paper, this is really looking like a late entry for show of the year candidate because, you know, the year is kind of winding down. We're already in October. I'm very much looking forward to it. I think there are going to be at least 2 or 3 like really standout matches that we may be debating were match of the night. I'm very excited for it, and yeah, live reaction is going to be great.
Exactly. All right, guys, I have a little Easter egg for those of you that have stuck with us all the way to the end here. And I wanted John and I to go through and maybe do some Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic preview and predictions as well.
Okay. All right. Lay it on me, partner.
So let me I'm gonna pull up the bracket real quick, and I'm gonna attempt to send you a link. There it is, WWE.com. I'm also gonna post the link in chat so that you guys can also see it. And I'm gonna send well, you know what, John? I'm not even gonna have to send a link to you in our what's it called? Google Hangouts chat, because I'm gonna just post it on the YouTube chat, and you'll be able to just click on it from there. So here you go, guys.
All right, to be fair, partner, just to let everybody know, I'm going on the chat now. I actually didn't have it open in a tab this time. So
well, now you'll be able to see it, and it's the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic bracket. And I think it's safe to kind of assume that the first round is going to be kind of like the CWC, where if they have a name, they're winning. If they're not really established, they're not. So, you know, Sabatelli and Moss are losing. Bogojevic and Knight are losing. Dorado and Ali are losing. We'll talk about that match later. We already know the Bollywood Boys lost. You know, Nice and Gulak are going to lose. Almas and Alexander already lost, and Bin Wang and Ho Ho Lun are going to lose. So now let's talk Dillinger and Rude versus Sanity. I think Sanity's going to win that.
I completely agree with you. Sanity is totally winning. Yeah, so Sanity to go over.
Okay, so Sanity then would face Itami and Ibushi, and I think Itami and Ibushi are going to win that.
Yes, I would agree with you there as well, which would mean that Itami and Bushi then would go all the way to the semis. So
they're going to the semis, right? And then we've got TM61 versus Team Aries, which is assumed to be Austin Aries and Roddy Strong. And because we need a good heel opponent for Itami and Ibushi, I'm assuming it'll be Team Aries that wins that as well.
I agree with you. Absolutely.
Okay. So Aries versus Itami and Ibushi. I'm thinking Itami gets a one-up on Aries since Aries got a one-up on him most recently.
Yeah, you know what? That makes sense to me. I'll sign on to that.
All right, so the top bracket, we're sending the team of Hideo Itami and Kota Ibushi to the finals. Bottom bracket, Authors of Pain. We might as well just send them to the finals because no one's beating them, right?
Yeah, no one's beating them. They're going to the finals.
Okay, so we'll get to the finals, which will be AOP versus Itami and Ibushi in a second. But for now, obviously the Authors of Pain's first opponents would be No Way Jose and Rich Swann then. But then we've got the Revival versus Gargano and Ciampa. And I'm telling you, man, I think this is going to be the upset. Gargano and Ciampa are going to beat the Revival, and that'll get them their tag title match down the line.
Oh, I completely agree with you. I even said to you, it might have been on 12-hour in conversation. I mean, they did something similar last year with the inaugural Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic when the Revival beat the Vaudevillains early on in the tournament and knocked out the NXT Tag Team Champions early, and then they got a future title shot. Same story here. Team DIY is totally winning.
Absolutely. And then they would go on to face the Authors of Pain, who would beat them. So when Gargano and Ciampa win the world titles from the Revival in a few months, Authors of Pain have a direct line to the championship match. So then we send the Authors of Pain to the finals against Itami and Ibushi. Ibushi isn't signed, so obviously he's going to be the one eating the pin in that match. And the Authors of Pain win 2016's DRTTC.
Which I agree wholeheartedly with you with, and that's precisely why if it goes down that way, I will love this Tag Team Classic so much more than the inaugural one, because I love the story of, oh, well, we won the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, but you're the Tag Team Champions, so two of the most prestigious tag teams on the roster going at it for the gold makes the most sense to me. In fact, to be honest, because this would only be a tag team match that Itami handed Aries his comeuppance, I could even see an Aries run-in to negate Itami. This way Ibushi is all alone with the Authors of Pain. So you continue that feud and you elevate Authors of Pain all in one foul swoop. So yeah, definitely. I agree with you completely.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there you go, guys. Got a quick little 5-minute Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic preview and predictions in on top of No Mercy. And we still kept the video under 45 minutes. John, any final thoughts before we close it out?
No, man. I'm pumped as fuck for this show. Right. Live reaction is going to be great.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, be sure to leave a like. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you are instantly notified when we upload or go live. Actually, we don't upload anymore. We just go live. So you'll be instantly notified when we go live or when we're setting up a show to go live. You'll know about it because you subscribed because you're smart and not a mark.
Yeah.
So once this video is fully uploaded and comments become re-enabled, be sure to leave a comment and let us know what your predictions are for this show. And until then, make sure that you stay tuned because Sunday we are coming at you with No Mercy live reactions. Stay tuned, guys.